Well, welcome back. And here we are ready to go for Module 1. So let's roll up our sleeves and get started. Several things before we do. I want to really ask you to turn off all your distractions and spend the next few minutes with me. I'm trying to make these modules short enough where you can do them on a break and maybe get the kids down for a nap or maybe slip out on a coffee break and watch. But I really want to encourage you to focus in. It's all the same to me, whether you do or you don't, but it's not for you. I want you to invest in yourself because you deserve these few moments. So I hope that you will do that. There is the first part of your workbook that you can download just beneath this. I will walk you through what you're to do in the worksheets, and you can do them now or you can do them later. But I want to give you a heads up that in about module 4 or 5, you're going to be stuck until you get the worksheets done for the first 3 modules. So you might want to consider getting the homework done or the fun work done as we move along. Now, to remind you again, we're working through the HEART acronym, HEART. These are the things that will begin to build your confidence, to give you permission to hone in on your purpose and to get ready to take your first giant step as a world changer. And listen, it's okay if you're listening to me and thinking, me? Not me. Yes, you. There's a world changer in all of us. And I want to call that forward in you. It's just that some of us will do it on great levels and some of us will do it on smaller levels that are just as important. I say often, if you are a stay-at-home mom, maybe homeschooling or maybe just taking great care of your kids before and after school and being the best mom you know how to be, you are a world changer because you're preparing amazing kids to become even more powerful world changers. So stay with me. So module 1 is the H in the HEART acronym, and it's about healing your history and rewriting your story. So I want to talk to you about that, and then I want to lead you through the worksheet that I believe will be a powerful experience for you, no matter where you're starting from. Now, all of us have had things that have happened to us in our lives that are anywhere from less than ideal to absolutely horrendous abuse. It's not important where on that spectrum your story occurs. It just matters if it's impacted your life in any way, particularly on the unfortunate side. It's important that we examine it. So, what I want to talk to you about is in your worksheet, I've asked you to choose 3 experiences, life situations, traumas, tragedies, whatever, however they fit on that spectrum, and write those stories in brief. Now, let me be very careful to tell you, you're not going to be asked to share this information with anyone. This is just for you. As a matter of fact, when we're completely done with the modules, if you want to destroy all of the sheets or part of the sheets to protect your privacy, feel free to do so. But let's get through the 5 modules first. So in the worksheet, I ask you to share 3 of those stories that had anything from a less than ideal impact to a horrendous traumatic impact on your life. It doesn't matter where on the spectrum they fall. If they affected you, they affected you. So the first part is to actually write those 3 stories. I say summarize, it doesn't need to be details, but if I was sitting with you and said, hey, I've got 5 minutes, actually I've got 15, tell me the 3 experiences that it had the most negative or traumatic impact on your life. 5 minutes with each. So not a total summary about something awful happened, but take it down as much as you can. I'm going to walk you through this with an example. Someone who actually did this assignment with me and went on to train and become a life coach. But I want to share her story, not because she's a female and not because hers is any more horrendous than perhaps yours is, but so you can follow the assignment. I'm just going to share one of her experiences, and I'm going to do it in a little bit of a broad stroke. When she wrote her story, here's what she wrote. As a child, I was held in captivity in a dark place for weeks at a time. Sometimes on a weekly basis, I got to come out and actually take a shower. The rest of the time, we used a bucket in the place of confinement. There was some other heinous abuse that occurred that was sexual, that was mental and emotional, not always having food to eat, not always getting to get out to even go to school. I read that, and there was a little more to it, but that's enough for me to walk you through the example. And my heart was broken. And whether your story is on this end of the spectrum or this end of the spectrum, if it affected you, my heart's broken. No one deserves to be horrendously affected by things in our lives. But unfortunately, it happens. So if yours is even worse way out here, write it down. We honor that. And don't let yourself say, well, mine's kind of on this end of the spectrum, so it's not that big of a deal. If it affected you, it's a big deal. So I want you to write out a summary of 3 life experiences that were less than ideal all the way to traumatic for you. After you've done that, the next step is, what did you feel in each of those experiences? That may have been a 5-minute experience, or Marie's experience was month after month after month. But what did you feel then? And what do you feel now? The list of what she felt then was truly heart-wrenching. Less than, like a nobody, terrified, trying to protect others involved and unable to do so. A very sad list of feelings. The list of feelings now are, thank God I survived. Thank God I didn't have worse things happen to me. Determined to not let that define me. Dedicated to doing something with my life. What were your feelings then? What are your feelings now? Let me tell you this. There are no right feelings and there are no wrong feelings. There are just feelings. And the feelings are important when we get to a later piece. So it's really important for you to identify those. You see, when they happened to begin with, the feelings were probably all over the map. And we don't understand. We don't understand at all what's happening at the moment, or maybe we're in shock. But those feelings have to be reconciled. And so we create the story you just wrote. Now, it doesn't matter if it makes sense to anybody else. This is your story and your history. The feelings now help us have a real clue to what we need to do to get you to healing. And we'll cover that in a bit. The next piece in the worksheet is to list the negative impacts it has had on your life. Marie wrote about eating disorders. She wrote about being afraid a lot. She wrote about feeling she could not fit in because she didn't have proper and adequate socialization. How has it impacted your life? And do that with all three situations, traumas, whatever you have. It's really important that you take these steps, even though they may be hard, because this is a big part of what will help you later take giant steps into being a world changer. Take your time if you need it. You have all the time you need to watch these modules. I just want to make sure that you have a chance to heal your history and rewrite your story. Now, after that part of the exercise, one of the things I want you to do in the worksheet is make some I am statements, meaning good things that have occurred to you as a result of that experience. Now, I'm not asking you to make it unicorns and rainbows. Marie could not make her story into unicorns and rainbows. But she did say for her, one of the things that happened is I found God. For her, that was a beautiful part of her story. Another thing that became a part of her story is I am very sensitive to other people who have experienced any kind of trauma. And there were many more, but I'll give you one more. As a result of that story, now she can say, I am an executive coach helping people through trauma. What a powerful thing. So what can you say about yourself? Don't say, I'm glad that happened. You're not glad that happened, but you can be thankful for the good things that you became as a result. Now, I want you to take another step with me. How do you think that you might be able to help other people as a result of what you went through? I will tell you what Marie wrote here because it was really powerful. She said, I knew as soon as I was away from that and had an opportunity to get an education that I wanted to be a teacher because I knew I could help kids going through trauma. For many years, she's worked in a school district in an inner city like setting, and she has impacted hundreds and hundreds of kids that are first graders as latchkey kids, some who live in crack houses, some who are experiencing even worse trauma than she was in and exposed to. And she's making major impacts. Many of her kids are now high schoolers, or some are even in college. And she hears from them how that their experience with her turned their lives around. So she thought she could help other kids, and she has. She's taken it a step further because there's one of her and hundreds of kids. She's training other teachers to deal with children of trauma. What a powerful thing. And then finally, she has become a coach so she can work with people of all ages who have been through trauma and help them heal. What could you do? You don't have to do all of that. Maybe you could sit with someone and hold their hand while they told you of the trauma and be with them. Maybe you have resources that you found out about, support groups or books to read that you could offer to people. What could you do to help others who came from similar things? Now, the last step, well, it's not really the last step, but it's the last one for the worksheet is rewrite your story. Now, let me tell you about rewriting your story. The story's not going to be, oh my goodness, I'm so thankful these things happened. Of course not. And you're not going to deny what happened. What happened, happened. But you're going to rewrite your story from one of being a victim, from one who was hopeless and helpless, to a story that's still true, but empowers you. So, how did Marie do that? Her story's a lot like this. It says, as a child, I went through some trauma that I don't want any other child to go through. Was it damaging to me? Yes. But I have found my healing through helping children who are going through trauma, for training other teachers to help children who go through trauma, and for coaching people of all ages through trauma. I will not be defined by my history. I will be defined by being a world changer as a result. That may not be the way your story goes, but we can all rewrite our stories in a way that empowers us. And by the way, when you become empowered, your story will empower others too. I know this is tough, and I know some of you have secrets that no one knows. I'm not going to ask you to share them with anyone. This is for you and you alone. Listen, if this brings some things up and you need coaching, reach out. We'll certainly try to find someone to refer you to. This is not about selling coaching. It's about helping you, but I just want you to know you're not alone. If you need some help, we'll get some resources to you. But you will find that if you will press yourself through this exercise, you will be in a much better place. You will be way ahead in becoming a world changer. Heal your history, rewrite your story. Take your time and come back to Module 2 when you're ready. It's going to be the E in heart, eliminating disempowering thoughts and beliefs and removing roadblocks. I'll see you there. Take your time. I know this is hard, but it's calling the world changer in you forward. I'll see you in Module 2.